It was supposed to be a triumphant return. Tom Cruise, still riding the wave of acclaim from the latest installment of Mission Impossible, arrived at the Good Morning America studios in Times Square with a confident stride and a dazzling smile. Fans gathered outside, waved posters and phones, cheering for the Hollywood icon known for defying gravity on screen and dodging controversy off it. Scheduled for a high-profile interview with George Stephanopoulos, the segment was expected to spotlight Cruise's stunt work, his unique philosophy on performance, and the enduring success of his decades-long career. What no one anticipated, however, was that the conversation would spiral into a volatile clash that would ultimately lead to Cruise being cut from the show mid-broadcast. From the moment he sat down opposite George, the air felt tight. Cruise, sharply dressed and intensely focused, seemed eager to steer the interview toward themes of discipline and creativity. But George, calm and deliberate, had other plans. Without warning, he pivoted. "Let's talk about control," he said. "Not in your films, in your life." Cruise's eyes narrowed. "Define control," he replied coolly. The tone was set, and what followed would shake morning television to its core. George didn't flinch. "Some say you're a perfectionist to a fault. Difficult to work with. Demanding even. Tyrannical at times. What's your response to that?" Cruise gave a short laugh, clearly caught off guard. "Look, I demand excellence. I give 110%, and I expect the same. That's how you make the impossible possible." George leaned in. "But where's the line between excellence and obsession?" Cruise tilted his head, visibly irritated. "Don't survive for decades in Hollywood without pushing limits. I push myself. I push teams. That's leadership," George countered. "Or control." Cruise sat back, the familiar smile gone. "Is this why I'm here? To defend how I lead?" George remained composed. "I'm just asking the questions many are afraid to ask." The studio lights felt suddenly hotter. The crew shifted uneasily behind the cameras. Cruise, usually unshakable in interviews, began to bristle. "George, you want to psychoanalyze me? Go ahead. But don't pretend this is journalism." Stephanopoulos smiled thinly. "I think the public deserves to know who's behind the curtain." Cruise leaned forward, his voice quiet but sharp. "Then let's pull yours too." The moment Cruise turned the lens on George, everything shifted. "You talk about transparency? What about yours?" he asked. "You've interviewed presidents, billionaires, dictators. How many softball questions did they get? But I sit down here, and I get grilled like a war criminal." George responded coolly. They didn't yell at crew members on set or have viral outbursts. Tom's face hardened. That audio was from a COVID-safe set. I was protecting jobs. That outburst kept people employed. George pressed, "But did it reflect the person you are, or the image you want people to see?" Cruise's voice rose. "I'm not here to be picked apart like some political scandal. I came to talk about film, not undergo a public dissection." A producer in the wings made a circular motion signaling to wrap or redirect, but George ignored it. "But isn't your whole brand built on image? The smile, the stunts, the charm, it's all manufactured, isn't it?" That was the breaking point. Cruise stood up slowly. "This isn't an interview, it's an ambush." George held up his hand. "If you walk out, that's your choice." Cruise shook his head. "No, it's yours. You lost a guest today." Then he walked off set. The feed was cut immediately, switching to B-roll footage of Cruise from previous red carpet events as a hastily recorded voiceover. Mumbled about technical issues, but the damage was done. Dozens of audience members had been live streaming from inside the studio, and within minutes, clips of the altercation flooded social media. The hashtag Cruise Clash began trending within the hour. Some viewers praised Cruise for standing up for himself, accusing George of baiting him into controversy for ratings. Others sided with Stephanopoulos, saying Cruise couldn't handle accountability. Major outlets like CNN and Variety reported on the blow-up by mid-afternoon, while late-night shows prepared monologue jokes before dinner. But the most damning footage came from a backstage recording leaked that evening, Cruise shouting, "This wasn't in the pre-interview. Blindsided me." A GMA staffer responded, "George wanted to go deeper. That's what he does." Cruise reportedly stormed out of the building, declining all press and canceling the rest of his media day. ABC released a bland statement. "We respect all guests and regret the unexpected outcome." But the internet wanted more. Asterisk within 24 hours, Cruise's team released a carefully worded statement. Tom Cruise remains committed to transparency, integrity, and creativity. He will continue to share his work with those who respect the artistic process. It didn't mention George by name, but the implication was clear. George, for his part, opened the next day's broadcast by calmly stating, "Yesterday's interview didn't go as planned." But journalism isn't always comfortable. We ask difficult questions because our viewers deserve real answers. It was a mic drop moment for some, but others accused him of self-righteousness. Celebrities began to weigh in. Jamie Lee Curtis tweeted, "Tom is passionate. He fights for his work. Don't mistake that for weakness." Meanwhile, Howard Stern mocked the whole ordeal, calling it the most exciting morning television in a decade. A culture war erupted. Was Cruise a victim of hostile media, or an entitled star unwilling to face criticism? Asterisk Hollywood insiders whispered that Cruise was livid behind the scenes. He reportedly ordered his PR team to pull future interviews from ABC entirely. Paramount executives were allegedly furious, worried that this clash might overshadow the box office momentum of Mission: Impossible 8. Some industry figures tried to mediate, suggesting Cruise and Stephanopoulos do a follow-up interview to clarify. But Cruise refused. "I'm done with setups," he reportedly told a colleague. Meanwhile, George Stephanopoulos became an unlikely hero to media critics. A New York Times op-ed praised him for holding celebrities accountable for too long. Hollywood stars have walked into studios expecting praise, not questions. That's not journalism. That's PR. The public reaction remained polarized. Cruise stans flooded Twitter with videos defending their idol, while skeptics accused him of having a god complex. And yet even critics admitted they couldn't stop watching the footage. Asterisk, despite the storm. Ticket sales for Cruise's film remained strong. Some even argued that the controversy boosted interest. But Cruise himself kept an uncharacteristically low profile. No paparazzi shots, no spontaneous fan interactions, no press junkets. Some speculated he was rethinking his entire media strategy. An insider told Deadline he's feeling betrayed. He wanted to connect with the public and instead got set up. Meanwhile, producers at other networks began to reevaluate their own interview protocols. "Nobody wants to be the next Stephanopoulos or Cruise right now," joked one CBS exec. GMA's ratings spiked the day after the clash, but so did complaints. Thousands of viewers wrote in, some praising George's courage, others accusing him of sabotage. Asterisk, then came the parody. Saturday Night Live spoofed the moment with a sketch featuring a fake Tom Cruise attempting to answer a simple question, only to dive roll off the set as flames erupted behind him. TikTok exploded with remixes of Cruise's dramatic walk-off. Someone even set it to the Mission: Impossible theme. Cruise's fans were furious. "He's not a meme," one user posted. "He's a master of his craft." But the internet, as always, was ruthless. Even so, the moment had struck a nerve about celebrity, ego, media responsibility, and what happens when control slips. George, asked in a later podcast whether he regretted anything, replied simply, "No. The truth isn't always polite." Asterisk eventually. Cruise re-emerged, not with a press conference or an apology, but through his work. A surprise video dropped showing him on set of his next film performing a dangerous aerial stunt, grinning into the camera, still doing the impossible. The caption read, "It was classic Tom letting his actions speak louder than the noise." Meanwhile, rumors swirled that he had rejected multiple network offers to explain his side. He didn't need to. Cruise had mastered the art of vanishing when needed, and reappearing bigger than ever. For George, the incident remained a controversial footnote in a long career, simultaneously admired and condemned. But one thing was clear. No one forgot the day Tom Cruise got kicked off Good Morning America, asterisk in the final analysis. The clash between Cruise and Stephanopoulos was more than a celebrity spat, was a collision of two worldviews. Cruise believed in curated truth, controlled environments, and the invincibility of cinema. George believed in confrontation, disruption, and peeling back the gloss. Their showdown was inevitable. It revealed the fragility of fame when challenged, and the combustibility of live television. Whether Cruz was humiliated or vindicated remains a matter of perspective. But in walking off that set, Cruz reminded the world of one thing: he may be mortal. Flawed and furious, but he'll always leave on his own terms. Even if it means stepping out mid-broadcast, head high, heart racing, to a world still hungry for the next impossible moment.